When Sam Smith ran onto a looping through ball in Wrexham's match against Charlton Athletic, it wasn't just the fans in Wrexham holding their breath. It was hundreds of thousands of fans around the world, from Kansas to New York, all of them delivered football on a platter by their Hollywood guides. And as he swung his boot around and hit the ball with his kung fu kick, it clattered into the back of the net, and the red smoke billowed out of the racecourse ground. A smoke signal had been sent to the world, as Wrexham had truly announced that this was more than just a sporting fairy tale. They're a club turned into a treasure chest for those unfamiliar with the game, a trailer for what the game means, a club that has taken the unconverted by the hand and in return given them everything. But it was 20,000 kilometers away, in a ground with yellow seats and makeshift squads, in the city of rain, wind, and the Wellington Phoenix, where the Wrexham tale was truly put into perspective. It's down under, where Wrexham accidentally stumbled upon a football world that has been broken more times than it cares to admit, but they still showed up to play against the football world's brand new darlings. This is the story of two footballing worlds meeting for the first time, one of rags and one of riches. This is when Wrexham came down under. It's not normal for a championship club to go on a pre-season tour to the other side of the world. But then again, it's not normal for a club to gain a hat-trick of promotions in consecutive seasons. Nothing about this team or this club is normal. They've become a well-oiled commercial vehicle, a storied club, propelled back into heights that are only getting dizzier, the longer Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds are at the wheel. And as the touring players flew high over the New Zealand mountains, just for a moment, the majesty of the land of the long white cloud would have taken the spotlight in their amazing story. Meanwhile, the club that they were about to play was preparing for their arrival. Their director of football had just sat down in front of a camera to answer questions from the fans. The first one? Have we got 11 players to play against Wrexham? As the two sets of players made their way into the Phoenix home ground, or the Cake Tin as the fans lovingly call it, Wellington definitely had a team ready to face the travelling Welshmen, but it was made almost exclusively from their academy. Some of them were shocked to receive a phone call from their manager just hours before the match and told they would be playing against Wrexham that very night. At that very same time, Wrexham had announced the signing of Liberté Cacachi, a Phoenix Academy graduate who had gone on to impress in the Serie A. This is the tightrope that the Wellington Phoenix walk every single match day, a fine line between genius and insanity, always 1 degree away from both. A club who couldn't be intimidated by their star-studded opponents because they've had to fight entire confederations just to survive. It was just 10 years ago that the Wellington Phoenix were told by their Australian hosts that their license to play in the A-League would only be extended by 4 years. For a football club, this is essentially a death sentence. The sales pitch for both their academy and to potential sponsors falls flat. The club was put on a countdown to nowhere. The yellow seats in the Cake Tin were filled with fans holding up banners that read "Save the Knicks," but the Australians knew what they were doing. They wanted the Knicks out. According to them, they weren't meeting their targets. It was a decision in the best interest of Australian sport. In their eyes, the Kiwis were just too sensible. There wasn't enough buzz about the Phoenix, no marquee signings, no big money moves, not enough noise, not enough ratings from Australian viewers. They wanted to bring the A-League home to Australia and give the license to a bigger city back home. But what they wouldn't have expected was the reaction from the football community. The fire had spread to every fan in the league because the Phoenix didn't just represent a club with their eye always planted to the future, they represented the footballing potential of an entire nation. Potential like Luke Flowerdew, the player who received the phone call just hours before the match against Wrexham. He would go on to score the winner early in the second half, crashing the ball into the back of the net of their Hollywood visitors. See, the Phoenix have always had to make do, from the moment they were born to the moment Luke Flowerdew pulled on the yellow and black for them against Wrexham. Their entire existence came after initial A-League franchise had failed to take off in the country's biggest city in Auckland. So when a millionaire in Wellington was getting his haircut and heard there was a license up for grabs over the radio, he was probably the only one in the country who thought it was going to work. It's a hard sell when you're the plan B. So Wellington focused on youth instead, on saving pennies, nurturing the talent of an entire nation, rather than import it from those who've already got it. Let the country's only professional team become the outlet for potential. An approach that makes sense in every aspect other than dollar signs. For the Aussies running the league, they didn't think it was gonna work. And even if they did, it went against what they knew. They needed excitement, TV ratings, and marquee signings. When the two Americans bought Wrexham, the reaction was eerily similar. Reynolds and McElhenney admitted they were inspired by Sunderland Till I Die. To many, this looked like a vanity project, and the public was quick to dismiss it as a publicity stunt more than anything, a Hollywood stunt with no real sporting soul. But instead, they told football's story in a way that millions of Americans could finally feel. A story with heroes and villains, rags to riches, hope, playoffs, and a dream. And in return, the club is slowly being fueled by the commercial power of an entire nation. And it's working. The Phoenix had to prove their own version could work too. Maybe the Aussie administrators couldn't see it at the time, but the other fans and clubs in the league could. Fans of every club joined the call, save the Knicks. Eventually, they got their license extension, and in return, they gave New Zealand something that can't be measured in ratings or revenue. They gave them a way into the game. When Wrexham came down under, it was a meeting of two clubs who in their own way had both held up a window to the world's game. Two clubs that lit a spark and will continue to grow. In the US, where football was starting to be embraced with a passion that keeps growing. And in New Zealand, as the legacy the Knicks have built is behind every talent that will wear the white at the World Cup in 2026. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. How do you guys feel about Wrexham? Where do you see their story going? And can you see the connection with the Wellington Phoenix? Do you also think more clubs will follow suit with their documentary style approach? Auckland FC, the latest franchise in the A-League, have just announced their own documentary about their inaugural season. So it seems like clubs are starting to see the value in opening the doors and the power of storytelling beyond the game that gets played on the field. Either way, have a great day and goodbye.